The Kybalion, a conversation by Julie Benetti and Susan Barbaro, is a production of EI Publishing in association with EI Alliance, copyright 2018. Visit eipublishing.com for more. Music for this series is courtesy of New Threads, copyright 2018, from their self-titled album, available now. Hi, this is Julie and Susan, and we're back talking about the Kybalion, written by three initiates, and we're on the principle of mentalism, which is the first principle, which is a very potent, they describe it as the master key for all masters. And basically, as they describe it in the book, the all is mind, the universe is mental. And so anyone who's familiar with the Matrix movie can't help but go there. And you think about everything that everyone has said, if it's come your way about thoughts or energy, and your mind is powerful, and mind control. There's been a lot of movies out there about mind control. This is kind of what it accesses. Mentalism, where the all is mind, even just cutting apart that part of the sentence, thinking about, well, what is the mind? And the funny part is you're using your mind to think about what the mind is, which is kind of freaky in a way as well. And if the universe is mind, then you can kind of do the A plus B, equals C, and C minus A equals B type equation to get down to the grit of, okay, if the all is mind, what does that mean? What is the all and what is mind?
So, one of the things that I think we can all grasp, because I'm always going to go for the most simplest understanding, is that we all come from the same it, whatever it is. We all come from that same sentient being, God, universe, energy, whatever. So that's the first part of it, is we all come from the same, we're all made up of that same, again, God, universe, whatever you want to call it.
Oh.
Well, okay, but so what I'm trying to say is that if you want to start to understand this concept, I can go to the first step, is that we all come from the same thing. We're all built of the same thing. And that's been proven by science. When we look at the earth, and we look at the building blocks of our own planet came from outer space. They came from asteroids and comets, and so that we know. We think we're so different, and yet again, science has proven that we all are made up of the same elements. And so this concept is taking that law, that knowing that we have, and it's going to a deeper level with it. It's saying it's even cellular. You go to the mitochondria of your DNA or within your cells, and the idea that the energy source of our cells are made up of the same energy source of everything.
And the idea that the whole world, the whole universe, is simply a mental creation is astounding. When you take that element of all being connected, of all coming from one element, one source, one vibration, a multitude of vibrations in that one vibration, yet everything that is around us, as this principle of mentalism, is a mental creation, and a mental creation of the all. It kind of folds in itself.
So again, I'm going simple because my mind is simple. So if I look up, it's the old axiom: is the cup half full, or is it half empty? If you always see things as being a certain way, that's all you're ever going to see. So your mental picture of what is occurring outside is, of course, the only way you're going to see it is through your interpretation, which is through the mind. So is that what you're saying, Julie?
Well, my understanding what's in the principle of mentalism is not only that, you take it one step further, and that interpretation, which is in the mind, is also in the mind of all. So it makes you and your experience even grander. You're a part of something that's huge. That's all.
Okay, so what are you trying to say?
The all is mind, the universe is mental. So the what you're saying from a simple standpoint, that
I'm saying that what you
you're,
see is what you interpret. If I interpret, I look outside and I say, wow, it's a beautiful day, the sun is shining. That's my interpretation of it's a beautiful day. Someone else can say, oh my God, we need rain. We desperately need rain. The sun's out. This is terrible. What are we going to do? Our crops are dying. So it's all in the interpretation. Yet there's that which creates within us is what runs through all of us.
okay. So
Otherwise, what are you saying? The mind is mental. Like I can't put that into.
so it's an extension of, for example, you have a website on the World Wide Web. You have a website, but there's a World Wide Web. So you go out there and you have a perspective and you're looking outside, yet your perspective is also an element of the all.
Exactly. And that's the common denominator through all of us. That's what runs through all of us. You and I are both sitting here looking out and seeing outside. You have an interpretation, I have an interpretation. That's what's common between us. We have our own various interpretations. Yet, it's the idea that we each have an interpretation that we create that is what's common to all of us.
Right. So we're saying the same thing in two different ways.
Okay,
from
so
two different extremes. Because I have a website, somebody else has a website, we have a website, we all have websites, but we're all on the World Wide Web.
right.
So our perspectives and our interpretations are different. Yet I think in this principle, it goes even further. That takes you grander to realize there's almost a Lilypad leap to, whoa, it's not just, and maybe you're trying to access this by saying the mitochondria is the energy center, and we all have that. The leap to the Lilypad, is a huge Lilypad that says we're all a part of this, and this is all a part of mind, and it's not just, I'm not just focusing on a you or my perspective or my website.
No, I hear
And
you.
to say that the universe is mental gives immense power to anything and everything that you want to do, that you want to see, that you want to be a part of, that's related to everybody. It completely takes out the boundaries, yet sets up the simplicity of what we see and what we know. I mean, it just completely makes us all one.
So this says, this principle explain, and then this is a quote. This principle explains the true nature of, quote, energy, quote, power, and, quote, matter, and why and how all these are subordinate to the mastery of the mind. And basically, it's we are saying the same thing. I'm just simplifying it because I think when I can simplify it, it becomes a much more powerful ideology, and I can work with it in a much more powerful way.
And I agree with you. And when you take it and say, okay, I get it simplified, yet this is the master key that it can unlock every and any door. It's almost hard to stay in the you version and then have your mind go, okay, there's a you version, a me version, yet there's an all version.
So what I think this principle alone, I'm not disagreeing with you, Julie. I think what this principle is stating is if you understand that we are all connected, I'll use your example through the World Wide Web. We can all access anyone's website. All you got to do is put in www whatever. Once you know that, when we go further into these other ideologies and different principles, I think it starts talking more about how do you access that all? And it's through vibration, rhythm, as it goes on. But the basic of this, and we just before we started this, we talked about how the heck are we going to talk about this, because they're all interrelated. And for me, I like to build upon things, and I like to keep it simple and then add to it, because then each time you add, of course, there's more layers that come in. You just don't add one layer, you add 4 or 5 layers. So if I keep it simple, this principle is saying we are all connected, and whether you believe it or how you experience it is going to be based upon your perspective, which is what you're calling it, is mental, is the mind. I use perspective, because if I can get confused if you say the mind. If I say perspective, I understand that. It's how I choose to look at what's in front of me and work with it. And I think that's this first principle. Not that what you're saying is wrong. You already lead to the next one.
Right, because that's a drill down to it. So to expand it and to let it propel you gives you a huge sense of, you want to fit in. You already do fit in. You're a part of the all. You're a part of what created all of this. And not only that, it's much like a hologram, where they say there's a hologram is the whole image, yet you cut out a piece and it still has the whole image, but it's a piece. It's much like you give the example of the thumb.
Say that. I know. So the only
thumb
thing
is a part of the body, yet it's there's even this simple sentence, the all is mind, the universe is mental, is so amazing, because the all, like you said before, it doesn't become a religious deity. It doesn't become, a guru. It doesn't become a leader. It becomes you.
So
in a
so we had a discussion about this
state.
when we said before that the universe, God, whatever, is nothing more than an amalgamation of all of us. If we all came together, there is the universe, there is God, there is no separate entity from us. And what Julie means by the image of the thumb is, when I talk about myself, about metaphorically me, is it's almost like I'm the thumb of a body. If the body is the all, and I am the thumb, and that's the me part of the all. Yet, so I am supposed to be a thumb, and I do things thumbs do. I give thumbs up, I give thumbs down, and I can pick my nose, I can do whatever. But at the end of the day, I'm still a part of the body, and the blood that runs through my heart and through my my lungs and through my brain is that same blood that runs through my thumb. So in that space, that you can take a piece of check the DNA through my thumb, take cells from my thumb, and you're going to get the same DNA as everywhere else. So yet we are part of something, yet we're still, I look at myself as, well, I'm still the thumb. The thumb's still supposed to do the job of the thumb, yet it's in conjunction with the entire body. And the reason I think it's important, and where I'm trying to go, is this is not a religious dogma that we're talking about here. People talk about that. They say it. We're all brothers and sisters, and yeah, but I like to explore why. I'm going into the how and the why, because I need to understand that. I could take a lot of things on faith, but there's certain things that make more sense to me when I understand it. And I think that's a little bit of what this principle begins to do.
And one of the other cool lines in this book is that the phenomenal world or universe is simply a mental creation of the all, which brings you closer to the element of it. And I say you kind of freely, because it expands you in everything that is created. And yet everything that is created is in the mind of the all. So we're all, interchangeable in this, and we're all spreading our experience.
And yet, I'm going to go back to the Hermetic Philosophy, which says, quote, where fall the footsteps of the master, the ears of those ready for his teachings open wide. And then further, quote, when the ears of the student are ready to hear, then cometh the lips to fill them with wisdom. So what I would say is the only difference between you, me, and anybody else is at what point we're interested in learning about this. It doesn't mean that anyone's further along energetically, spiritually or anything else. It's a matter of at what point, where's your awareness, and how much of this do you want to understand and move from? And it's in that understanding that you realize that we're part of the all. And if you're not into understanding this or trying to make the leap, doesn't change the fact that you're still a part of it all.
Right.
I mean, that's the part that I'm at. It's like I mean, for those who are listening, it's you're hearing this because you were supposed to hear it.
Mm.
And we're reading this together, and it just came across my, into my path a short while ago, because it's time for me to understand this and move with it. And so just because someone else isn't on this path does not mean they're not a part of all of this anyways. Maybe they're there to help us learn something that we didn't know. And
the funny thing too is that you sometimes you hear something, and even this simple statement, and I know I'm going back to the vastness of the statement and I'm calling it simple, but sometimes you hear something and it triggers something in you, and that is triggering your extension and your connection to the all. I'm going to kind of take a leap and say that the all is mind, the universe is mental. There's a power to that simple sentence. There's an energy to it, and there's a vibration to it. If you just kind of relax and hear it, the all is mind, the universe is mental. If you start thinking about, I'll go back into this, if you start thinking about what you do with your thoughts all day long, and how you create your world, and how you create your relationships, and what you're thinking about, I mean, that can just blow your mind.
so you and I sat down and we talked about doing this a long time ago, is having a, sitting and talking with people, not just to sit and listen to ourselves talk, but to have a conversation with people that are like-minded and that want to go further and want to expand upon this. And we've talked about it, and yet, we really, haven't really, we really haven't pursued it as strongly. So then we sat down and say, well, let's just do it. And so basically, we're doing what we've created. Right now, we're
Right.
doing what we created.
Right.
And there could be 10,000 people out there, or it can be just you, that one person. Either way, we're doing what we chosen to do.
And we're already connected, so.
Right.
Right.
And we're already connected. So it comes down to that. I can sit here and, well, you don't have, your own radio. You don't have this. You can go into
Right.
all these, well, you don't, but that's we don't know that.
Right, and the cool part about it is no matter the time factor, because yes, I'll go here, no matter the time factor, you're a part of it. You're a part of the creation of it.
Right. And we're doing this because the time is for us to do it in our small part, and wherever it goes and however it does, it's run by the universe,
Right.
not run by us, and not run by from, I don't want to say, any big companies out there that appear that they're running things. They're not running things. The energy is. And they may fool themselves into thinking they have power, but they have no power. And I'm purposely trying not to use any well-known names, but it's the truth. They think there's power, yet there is not power.
And that's the coolest thing, because you read the sentence. This principle explains the true nature of energy, power, and matter, and
Yeah, that's what I
why
already read.
and how they're all subordinate to the mastery of the mind. I know you already read it,
Yeah.
but it bears repeating
Exactly.
again. Because you
And-
want to think somebody else has power. Well,
They don't.
guess what? That's a thought.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're creating it.
And you're giving them power. When you
Right.
think that,
Right.
when you think so-and-so has all this power, you are taking your power and you are handing it to them. And then guess what they do? And the funny thing is, they may not even be aware of it. They're off doing their own thing, and you gave them power, and they don't even know it.
Right, and it's all in your thoughts, and that this can lead to a conversation about any situation
Yes.
of anyone's drama
Yep.
or story that they're telling or sharing over coffee or over something, to say that, oh my God, this is what happened, can you believe she did this or he did that, or this is and that person is in a totally different time period, is in a totally different thought process, energy, vibration, and you're the one giving them power.
And I have when my when my kids were younger, and they were playing softball and baseball, you know, there'd be times, and if they hear this, they'll get. I used to say, "Oh, I pray that this game doesn't happen today. I just don't feel like going, or it's cold." And I would wish and wish, and I'd look outside. I'm like, "It's gonna rain, I know." And you know what? I have to tell you, many of those games got rained out. And I used to sit there and I'd say, my kids would say, "What do you think, you're Mother Nature?" And I'd say,
not calling you that. I was going to say, I'm not calling you that.
But what I'm saying is that you can, you know, if you don't give your power up, you can, you know, the only thing that you can't do, which is what this principle also says, is that you can't understand the all. You can't separate from the all. And sometimes the all is going to do what you really, really need. It's what Mick Jagger said: you don't always get what you want, but you know, you get what you need. Yeah. And sometimes I'm using the word universe to be very, you know, very plain about a word, not is that you will get what you need.
And let's state too that it's not about having power over somebody else. That's
boring.
Not it.
Who the heck wants that?
It's power of yourself,
yes.
And not giving your power away.
And
it has nothing to do with right. It has nothing to do with saying. I mean, I've worked at places. I want people saying, you know, executives, "I want power. I want power." The minute you say that, that's you have nothing. I know, but whatever. Well, we won't talk about that. Yet the truth is, what is the power? It's the power over your thoughts, over what you're creating.
Yeah, everyone I think just wants power of their own life. I mean, if you've ever been the boss or you've had it, it's not fun having to take care of other people, because that's right. If you have power, you have to take care of them too. You really just want power over yourself, and you're the one that can give it, and you're the one that can take it away.
And the kind of power that this is talking about is the power over yourself, over your mentalism, over your mind, over what you create, what you think, what you realize you're connected to.
And then the last thing is that once you understand that, then you can move into the other principles, which is moving in a different way.
This has been a production of EI Publishing in association with EI Alliance. Listen to other episodes and visit eipublishing.com for the transcript of this series as an ebook and to find more energized podcasts and books. Find New Threads' self-titled album, New Threads, on iTunes, Spotify, Bandcamp, or at newthreads.us. Thank you for listening.